don't want to work, it could be a tough night.
This is more than a lookout right, because we have two times I Love Boxing, each of them representing 50% split audience supporting at least one of these boxers. So certainly there's a local rivalry, there's a community rivalry, there's a boxer rivalry, and there's enough to fight for in the game.
Big round. This one is, and already you can see a bit of reddening on the eye of Gorge. In the right eye of Gorge, a bit of reddening in the eye, and I don't know, but it looks like he's a bit funny for me. But one thing about Gorge, he is a big puncher, he is a banger. So if you loses steam and begins to become slow in his movement, it's going to be very, very bad for him, because Gorge, he's a big puncher, he's a big puncher.
Guys, I used to cut weight myself, and to make that super bantamweight limit in the end was the thing that effectively ended my career. It gets very, very tough. And if Gosh hasn't got it right, trust me, he's going to pay the price in the later rounds, because Theo Alieni, this kid can fight. He's slick, he's good, and he's got no... He looks good, he looks great in his face, and he's got, you know, no weight cut issues or anything like that, where you look across the ring, and I'm glad you pointed that out, because Gosh, to me, looks very tight in the weight. Yeah,
he is a 122-pounder. He is champion at that weight limit. He had to drop down in weight to 118 to clinch the WBO Africa Championship. But Theo Alieni, he's a super flyweight. He campaigns at 115. So for this fight, he had to gain 3 pounds of extra weight, while Gorge had to cut down 4 pounds of good energy. And so, I mean, though it's early goings yet, but you can see the telltale signs even at this point. Gorge against Alieni in a packed to the rafters, Bukum Boxing Arena, and Gorge opens fire. Gorge opens fire, throwing caution to the win at this point.
Yeah, but I tell you, Alieni was happy to stand with him and trade with him there. So Alieni again coming back with a good hook. Gosh is the one coming forward, but a good shot there from Alieni, and Gosh soaked that one up well.
One thing you might not know about Gosh, he can take a punch. So, I mean, boxing is not only about how you give out punches. You must be able to take as much as you give. So if Alieni is able to give out, he must also be ready to take the venom from Gosh when he decides to unleash.
So Gosh is called the doctor of knockouts. He's a knockout specialist, but he says he's not interested in the knockout in this fight. He wants to go all the way out. So he's going to show Alieni that, look, I'm not ready for a knockout. It's more than just a fight that we are fighting for. Community is at stake, family is at stake, and I'm going to push all the way to the last end. Going to show you that you were just a lad that started boxing in the backyard. And I say, Gosh started boxing when Alieni was nowhere, and eventually Alieni has climbed up to meet him up, and it's showing clearly. It's just a second round already, but everything Gosh does, Alieni does double of that, and he's showing that, hey, I can do whatever you can do, and let's get it rolling.
And that's the difference between the two at the moment. Alieni seems to have that answer. Gosh is coming forward looking for them shots, maybe not putting them together the way he should be, and Alieni is answering it and just nicking around.
Spence, a very, very explosive start to this one. But how do you love the counter-punching game of Alieni right now?
Yeah, it's beautiful. The fluidity with Alieni is the difference here. And he landed a big hook there. And I tell you what, Gosh felt that shot. It shook him down to the soles of his boots. He was looking to hold there. Right hand goes in as well. And Alieni senses Gosh is in a bit of trouble here.
Look, you remember when they say that Gosh can really take a punch. You can hit him hard. You would think he's going down, but I bet you he's feeling nothing of that punch. He knows how to take punches. He's very good at that, and that is something.
Trust me, that weight cut though, you feel those punches more, and you can see the effects of that shot there. Right hand again.
It looks like there's a cut on the right eye, on the top of the right eye of Gosh. A bit of a cut there on the right eye of Gosh.
Look.
My goodness.
Alieni knows that Josh is a tough meat to fight. The only way he can hit him hard is to give him a cut earlier on, so he can capitalize on that. Give him some of that cut until he gets his win. But no
Some of the action in that second round. Gosh looking for those shots over the top. That's the answer from Alieni, switching the shots from body to head. Gosh going with it, both trading blow for blow. Brilliant action. Only the second round. We're here in a Grand boxing arena, and it is absolutely packed to the rafters. There must be 8,000, 9,000 people in here now. There is not a spare seat in the house, and this is why the WBO African Bantamweight title on the line. 2 rounds gone, 2 rounds to Alieni for me, but anything can happen in this one.
Gosh is always dangerous because he keeps lurking with those haymakers and roundhouse punches. And you know, Mike Tyson said, everybody has a plan unless you are punched in the mouth.
Well, these two have definitely been punched in the mouth a lot in those first two. And look at them go here, standing there, trading blow for blow.
And one thing also, in his first amateur bout, Alieni lost to Gosh by stoppage in round number 3.
Look, it will surprise you to know that only 1 out of all the 11 fights that Gosh fought went beyond the 5th round. He's going to knock everybody out even before the 5th round, but he has promised that, look, for this bout, I'm not interested in the knockout. I'm going to take Alieni all the way because he really needs some proper beating. Because I tell you, when Gosh defeats Alieni here, it's going to be a whole pride for a whole community, and they're going to have the bragging rights for almost a whole year, and that is what they are all hoping to look out for. So it's 2 communities that are fighting in the ring right now, and if you hear the crowd from out of the ring, one side is cheering when their community is winning, the other side is cheering when the red corner is winning. That tells you that the rivalry is just not in the ring alone.
Absolutely, the rivalry is real, and these guys are delivering brilliant contests here at the Boxing Arena. And Gosh is just now trying to turn the screw. He's trying to pick it up a little bit here. He's recognised that those first 2 rounds have maybe gone away from him, and he's pushing Alieni on the back foot. He's trying to take the play away from him. He's loading up for the shots. Better round this from from Daniel Gosh. Much better round.
Daniel Gosh trains out of the Bronx boxing gym. Trainer is Lawrence Carloco, the man who brought up Richard Comey to his first world title fight against Robert Easter. He's the one who trains Gosh. He's not to train fighters to be very, very strong and powerful. And Alieni trains out of the Wisdom Boxing Gym. Head trainer is Dr. Oforiasari. He's also the head trainer of the Ghana National Amateur Boxing Team. Very, very experienced corners by our standards, both corners.
Well, I'll have you know, I was around Azuma Nelson's house today. We were around to do an interview with him, and he was talking about this event, this arena, and the next generation coming through, and how he's inspired these fighters. And he talked about these 2 in particular and said, we've got a great fight between 2 unbeaten young fighters. Trust me, Spencer, they will deliver. And boy, was he right.
Spencer, I don't know what you're seeing right now, but it looks like Theo is losing a bit of steam. I don't know what you see now.
We all know that Theo feels that he's opened the eyes of Gosh. He's giving him a cut, so he thinks he has an upper hand. He forgets that Gosh is a natural punching bag. He feels no pain. And Theo is looking slightly because he thinks he has that advantage to his side. But I must tell you, Gosh is always full of surprises.
Roland, it looks like Theo is brimming with so much confidence. Hey, he went on and dancing. Imagine that.
Listen, that was a much better round.
Sometimes it's a strong message to the audience that, hey, people, I'm not having it. I'm losing. You need to let the whole class be beside you so you can deceive them and celebrate them. Let them know that you still got a speed up your sleeve. But the most important is the words. Because they must begin to think that, okay, hey, we did this one, I know.
Spencer, you have been a boxer. A boxer dancing to his corner. What does it signify?
Listen, I think there was a good round there for Gosh, and a round that he needed the first couple of rounds slipped away from him. I think he was surprised at the good start that Alieni had, rolling his shoulder and throwing punches in combinations, and more importantly, finding the timing early. And I think Gosh showed that he has that quality because he was able to adapt, turn the screw, put the pressure on and start landing some shots and turn it into his favour. Now Daniel Gosh has to build on that now, and it looks like he's going to try and do that as he takes centre of the ring, just trying to set a trap. He's waiting to look for the counter here. It's going to be a very interesting contest, this one.
Look, both boxers are close fighters. They don't fight from a distance. They get close and punch. That's the only thing that is very similar for these two boxers. They don't fight at arm's length. They get close, hit body, hit face, hook, and they go. And like you say, we're still around 4. We have more rounds to go. But these guys have energy more than you think you see.
The way Theo throws a punch and rolls under, very, very educated right there. Those are the drills you go through in the rudimentary days of boxing. Spencer.
Yeah, what I will say is that these guys are not just heavy-handed, they're boxing like you. Is brilliant as well. And look at these guys. Look what it means to them here.
I don't know if you've realized, but looking at their seconds, both coaches are very calm at their seconds. These are two experienced coaches who are bitter enemies because almost always when they produce boxers, one wins and the next game the other one loses. So these coaches are super experienced, and if you watch the calm demeanor of both seconds, it's telling you that they are carefully analyzing, carefully strategizing, then whatever goes, they know the next step of plan to get to the boxer to enter.
Yeah, it's interesting that because that can be the difference between winning and losing in a fight here, the corners, because these two are so evenly matched. It's all about tactically who gets it right and who gets it wrong. Good work again from both guys today. None of them want to give up ground here. Gosh, working well to the body, switching those attacks to the head, and there's the answer there from Alieni. He's happy to stand and trade. Lovely little 1-2 body shot going in as well.
Gosh is working at a little bit of a deficit in the skill set area. I feel like he's having to try to walk him down and use his power to maintain some kind of form of dominance in this fight. As we close this round, you see Gosh walking in the shots, walking onto shots.
Yeah, Gosh has got to be careful that he doesn't fall to sleep when throwing those shots, because he was just caught with a little 1-2 counter there that just seemed to momentarily stun him.
Seems like Gosh is not done, not phased, willing to walk through fire. But as you know, any one of those punches can absolutely change all that. You don't want to just be walking in for the sake of walking it down. You've got to set it up with something, find some angles.
You know what, sometimes with the fighter, something's not going right. They try that bullish stance, they try just walking their fighter down, and they get a little reckless. And at this level, at this stage, one false move and it's checkmate. They can't do that. They've got to keep to the game, they keep switched on and grind it out. Some of the action here in the round, the good work from Alieni off the ropes. Look at that short right-hand counter there from Gosh. He's really trying to force it again here, Gosh, there. Pushing forward, and I'd like to see him take that half step back, create that space himself, and let those combinations go.
You see the start of that series, Gosh did a quality shot to the body. So he's being responsible, he's picking his shots, and he's trying to get the edge there, but what he got in return was much worse than what he gave.
Here we go, the start of round number 5, and this one has been a real seesaw of a contest. Both guys having successes, both guys getting caught as well. None of them look like they're going to give an inch at the moment, both keeping their shape really, really well. And we can see they're both holding the centre of the ring, trying to establish that jab and dominate the jab at the opening here.
I like
how
Alieni.
many people imagine that Theo was standing there in the pocket and trading with Gosh
How many people were making down?
Yeah, incredible, and that's down to Gosh. I would say coming down those 4 pounds from super bantam to bantam is not an easy thing to do, and you can see there's not an ounce on him. His body is absolutely ripped, and that's why I say maybe he's lost a little bit of that strength, but you wouldn't know so by the way he's pushing forward. But a great performance this by Alieni as well.
And to your point, Spence, he probably expects to have more reaction from those shots. He's accustomed to those shots being heavier and doing more damage. So he's right now trying to figure out if there's something else he has in his toolkit that can put Alieni maybe into some kind of question. Because right now it feels like Alieni is comfortable in fighting his fight. It's not an easy one, but it is his fight.
Look, round 5 is where Gosh does his magic. About 90% of his wins came in round 5, and that is where his magic comes in. So this is a very familiar territory for him. It takes it very easy. If Alieni goes past beyond this round, then Gosh will really have a fight on his hand.
I heard yesterday at the weigh-in, a lot of people predicting Gosh would win this fight.
He doesn't wear any damage at this point. And Gosh, there is not much thing in his punches. So I wonder whether he will go for a knockout. But let's see how it goes. Still 3 more rounds to go.
Both fighters have their share of fans here tonight. And yesterday, I heard a lot of predictions for Gosh, and that's because of the culture of boxing here. They believe the big shot, the big puncher wins. That's the kind of attitude that they want every fighter to go in the ring with. And I see that Alieni is definitely a puncher, but a boxer first. That is something I think that in this culture, in this community, they might have to learn to respect a little bit more, and Alieni is showing them why tonight.
Yeah, Alieni boxing very well, very smart at the moment, just rolling that shoulder and just leaning back half an inch and just taking the power away from Gosh's punches, and he's creating that space as well. He's looking to get off first with the shots. He's not allowing Gosh to get into any sort of rhythm. Good work again there. The better work coming from Alieni with the counters.
And to Gosh's credit, he's still walking through every shot. I mean, that was a clean 1-2, swinging, heavy, hard shots, and he just kept walking forward. He might want to turn a sidestep and start setting something up with his jab, using a little bit of that offense as defense. Yeah. Neither one of these guys is going to want to leave this ring with anything but a victory, and I know, Spence, that at this point they've left so much of the ring, you'd hate to see a knockout. But as I always say, there's some definitive nature of a knockout. There's something to be said for the closing of the show. But here tonight, I just can't call it. I don't know if the power is going to come on from Gosh, like has been predicted by one of our colleagues here, or if he's just going to get outboxed down the stretch.
Listen, that's the beauty of the contest that we've got right now. We've got a 7-round contest on our hands, because after the first 5 rounds, I've got Alieni 1 up. But it's one of those fights, subjective scoring could go one way or the other. There's not a lot in this. This fight is now there to be won and lost. And it's how Gosh is going to do it down the stretch. Will the weight have affected him? Or will he be able to pick it up? Alieni was the kid who Gosh beat in Alieni's first amateur fight. And Gosh won't want to lose to him in the most important professional fight of their careers.
We asked yesterday whether it would be repeat or revenge, and it seems like tonight, revenge just has the edge by a narrow margin. Now this is round 6. We're past the magic round for Gosh, but there's a lot of rounds left ahead of us. We're only halfway through the fight, and Gosh really doesn't look phased, while he does need to find something that's working a little better than what he's been doing. Like we said, it's a narrow margin, and the momentum of this fight could shift at any moment.
Well, Gosh has tried some different tactics here. He's trying to draw Alieni in. He's found it hard to catch him, and now he's just taking half a step back, waiting for Alieni to throw the shot, and then he's going to punch when Alieni punches. It's a smart tactics here from Gosh, because he's just felt that he's falling half an inch short, and maybe that's causing problems with his timing. So change of tactics shows a great boxing IQ, exactly what we were talking about.
Very impressive from a fighter who's only had 15 fights, I think it's got to be probably the most challenging of his career, certainly the most important night with all these eyeballs and all this energy. Anthony Joshua ringside, you couldn't ask for a bigger stage, and both of these guys are performing incredibly well. It is a testament to how much they are training and schooling in boxing that adjustment could be made that you just mentioned, Spence.
Look, when you look at round 6, it has a similarity to round 1. If you look at how round 6 is being fought by Gosh in round 1, it's almost like the same. I told you that round 5 is a sweet spot. So round 6 is almost like a restart for him, just like round 1 as a restart. So if you look at the tactics he used in round 1, it's being exemplified here again in round 6. And understanding that Gosh is beginning to pick up again. And I told you earlier on that if Alieni goes beyond round 5, he really have a battle on his hand. And this is like a restart of the whole match all over again. Stamina, auto boost, strength, auto boost, and everything auto boost again.
Inside the hellacious exchange, I saw Alieni land a nice poking uppercut. That's the shot you might want to look out for. That's the kind of shot that he hits him clean and hits him with some power. I think Gosh goes down. Any fighter, even with the chin, being hit with a clean uppercut like that, it's a very dangerous punch, especially inside of action.
Yep, that was better work on the inside from Alieni. He's just that split second quicker at the moment to the punch and just getting on for the shots first. And that's the difference between the two at the moment for me, just the slight edge in speed and timing for Alieni, and I think he's just nicking this round as well.
He's looking for shots to see if they're there. Like I said, it was a poking uppercut. He didn't put much mustard on it, but boy, it's impressive in the middle of the exchange where he's finding shots that he's going to go back to later. I think he was testing the waters there. I'll be keeping an eye out for that exact same shot to come on later in the fight.
Look, Gosh is a master when it comes to round 6. And round 6, I'm telling you, it's almost like round 1. He's fighting more tactical. He's trying to conserve a lot of energy. He's trying to go in hard. If you look at Alieni has more foot movement in the range compared to Gosh, who has every single step well practiced, well prepared, making sure his step goes with a punch.
Well, if it is in fact the second half and a new start for Gosh, then we will see some new tools put to work in the second half of this fight. And it's up to Alieni again to make the adjustment if that is in fact the case. I do see what you're saying. He's a bit starting to wither under the pressure. Maybe those shots will come on and get to him late, but I don't see the power having the kind of effect that Gosh has enjoyed in the past. So if those shots are not going to be moving and hurting Alieni, I think the boxer wins in a matchup like that.
Yeah, we're going to be moving into the second half of the contest now. First half is very, very close. This could all be on this last 6 rounds. Who wins it? Who finishes better? Who finishes stronger? Well, I tell you what, there's a packed book and boxing arena here right now, and they are loving every minute of it. Here we go, second half of the contest.
Both men locking eyes from across the ring. Neither one of them wants to give an inch. Neither one of them wants to show the least bit of weakness. It'll be very interesting how the second half of this round starts, because while they seem to be restarting their engine, they can't be as fresh as the first round. This is going to be the dig deep moment, and who's got that engine, who's got gas left for the remainder of this fight.
We are in round 7. The coach that trains Gosh has 3 tactics that he used. He used silent boxing, hard punching, and knockout. Today, they're ruling out knockout from this game, and they are going silent boxing. Silent boxing is where you move like a cougar, trying to go in slow and hit hard. And that's exactly what he came in round 6. And that's exactly what is coming up again in round 7. Round 7 is switched to hard punching. And that is what the coach knows how to do. He combines silent boxing with hard punch. So if you're looking at him, that this is where you punch, and you're coming again at this, I must tell you, you'll be surprised when it goes to the next round again.
So far in round 7, it's that jab from Alieni that's been dictating.
Yep, I agree with that. I think that Alieni just seems to be oozing confidence at the moment. He's getting off with that jab and making, gosh, just make those small fundamental mistakes, and maybe a bit of frustration kicking in. But Alieni at the moment just seems to be oozing confidence. He's the one that seems to have slipped into a rhythm here.
I got to tell you, the triple jab is my favorite combination, because it means that you're setting something up and you know that that jab can educate the entire fight. I don't think right now that the restart is a refresh. I think that still Gosh is looking for angles and ooh, right there I thought maybe we would see something in the exchange. Looking for angles, looking for something yes, looking for something new, but hasn't found it yet. If Alote is allowed to settle into the second half of this fight, boxing and punching is going to be tough, I think, for Gosh to come ahead on the scorecards once we get into the 8th and 9th round.
Oh, Gosh, you've got to be careful he doesn't make those mistakes coming in, because the slick boxing of Alote, he times it very well. Lovely right hand over the top again there. Set the sweat spraying from the head there of Gosh.
I can see the stalking coming from Gosh now. A little bit less busy, a little bit less wasted energy, and more looking to pick his shots. I can tell he's loading up for a heavy shot, thinking that now the power really does have to do him justice.
Look, both boxers are world traveled. Alote has been an Olympic qualifier before. So they have, if you look at the way they fight, that tells you that they have both local and international tactics with them. And of course, we have one that is being led by the national coach of the country. The other one has been led by a coach that has won lots of laurels under his belt. And we have two communities that have been split by these two. That the way they're fighting is certainly a clear example of how they've been coached. This is just closer to round 12, but look, they do not look tired. They look like they can do more than round 12.
Oh, absolutely. These two guys are elite athletes. They're in tremendous condition. And both guys, after that 6th, 7th round, are very, very pleased with themselves. More so Alote than Gosh. Gosh maybe pushing it just a little bit more. Another round in the bank for Alote. He's just pulling away a little bit here. I've got him 2 rounds up. There's some of the action here in that 7th round. Gosh trying to work the body, switching the attacks. There was a good right hand that landed.
You mentioned, Smith, that Alote was comfortable in the beginning of the 7th round. And as the second half of the 7th round came on, I thought he got a little cocky. Started to showboat a little bit, maybe too comfortable. And if he continues to do that, the opening might create itself for Gosh. You cannot switch off. You cannot think you have this kind of fight in hand, because Gosh is a warrior. He's here to battle. He does have power, and he will catch you if you switch off at any moment in this fight. The start of round 8. Trading jabs. I like to see it. Oh!
That was a good solid hook there that went through the guard. Oh, Gosh. Oh, Gosh. Decided to roll the dice here and take the gamble.
Gosh talking to him. I don't know what he's saying, but he is trying to break him down mentally, because physically it's not happening for him yet.
Yeah, this is a very close contest. As I say, I might have Alote 2 rounds up, but it could quite easily be an even contest. A couple of those rounds are swing rounds, so it's what you like. Do you like the aggression of Gosh, or the more silky smooth movements of Alote, who for me has just done the cleaner work up till now, but it's never over till it's over. This fight is all for the taking.
I'd say the margin is setting up the big shots, and that's what Alote is doing, and Gosh hasn't. The best action of this round was a straight right hand and followed by a very clean hook, but it was set up by the jab. That 3-punch combination is the difference between what Alote is doing and what Gosh is doing, just walking down and looking for big shots like that big left hook. Right there, if it had been set up with something, maybe it lands clean.
Alote just up on his toes there as we just reached the halfway mark of this 8th round, and he still looks very, very fresh. Alote, as does Gosh, to his credit.
I think both of these guys are just battling with pure will and adrenaline. The crowd is lifting them on their shoulders. There is no tired right now. They may collapse in the locker room after this fight, but I tell you, for the next, 4 rounds, you can guarantee that these men will not take a step back unless they are punished backwards, unless someone forces them to take a step back.
Look, let's appreciate the referee in the center. He's not called many fouls. This is a very experienced referee. He's been in the game for over 20 years, and he knows what to do at the right time, and he knows that a fight like this with the magnitude of the crowd behind it, calling too many fights is going to spark unnecessary missiles into the ring. So you need to be tactically wise and careful in calling out your decision. And I think the referee has done well for that.
The referee's done a great job tonight, and he hasn't needed to be needed in this contest, because you've got two quality operators who know how to create the space, know how to not make it messy. You know, now the fight's settled down into some sort of rhythm. You've got Gosh just trying to force the pace, trying to close the gap, and Alieni has chosen to box on the back foot, and the styles are blending lovely. Good work there from Gosh right at the end of the round.
Look, that's what I said. Alieni does not have many fights that he goes to the 12th round. So this is going to be one of the very few fights that he's going to go to the 12th round. And I'm very sure his coach is mapping up a strategy to make him go away.
We have to look at the fight. Go ahead.
Pistol looks very fresh, looks durable, and he's still dancing.
I know, listen, he's fresh, he's enjoying it. And to be fair, looking over to the other corner, Daniel Gosh, he looks fine as well. Their corner of Johnson, they're enjoying it. This is a close fight, a very close fight. And as we approach 4 rounds, the last third of the contest, this fight is still very much up for grabs. And we see some of the action there in that 8th round from both of the guys.
I think going down the stretch, it is going to be important to see who stays sharp, who stays accurate, who stays clean. And I'll tell you something, that the inside fighting at the end of the last round showed me a little bit of frustration from Gosh. He can't give in to that. He's got to stay on his mark and stay fighting inside and turning those punches over and getting what is given to him by Alieni, which often is that left hook and sometimes the right hand right over the top. But he's got to turn the shots over and stand his ground.
Look, we did talk about the dancing of Alieni earlier on. I said earlier on that all the dancing moves that you know from Ghana, you are from these 2 communities. And dancing is not just an art, it's also a sport for them. So when you see him dancing, it's not more of entertainment. He's just telling his people that this is what we're known for. We're known for boxing and dancing. So when I box and I dance, it means I'm with the community, I'm the crowd. That man there is only boxing and he's not with us. So show me love and do not show him love.
Lovely knowledge there and insight into the history of Ghanaians and what they do. And we're seeing these 2 guys from different communities, different villages, delivering in the ring. But one thing we can guarantee is this fight is a gladiatorial fight, and it'll bring these 2 together, because only these 2 have said this moment, and this is something that only these 2 are going to have forever. And that's a beautiful thing.
Yes, I must say that before Joshua came, before Gosh came to prominence, a video of him just came up beating an elderly man, and the coach said, hey, I see something in this lad, and it's going to prove that yes, he has the power. And I was saying earlier on that very few people have videos going up and they blow out of it. People go into the ring for many years and they don't blow.
Oh, big right hand there from Alieni. Gosh, had to take that one well.
When we talk about the 2 communities, I believe the ability for these men to represent their cultures, to hear that crowd cheering them on and spurring them forward, is why we don't see any slowing down from what must be fatigue. They are human, but what's happening inside their hearts and inside their minds won't allow them to show even the smallest bit of weakness or fatigue, which is why this is such an incredible fight. It's not just the men in the ring, but it's the cultures and the community that they carry in with them.
I tell you what, it's another good round here from Alieni. He's the one that's doing the better work. He's the one that's nicking these rounds, the combinations. He's getting them first off the punches. Oh, both guys trading again, but
Look, you're never going to have a situation where only one person is going to punch. Certainly one punches, you have a counter. That's how they strike. Gosh has beaten Alieni before many years ago. Alieni is looking like a comeback to him. Gosh is looking at him like, look, Alieni is a new breed, new style, world experience, gone for Olympic qualifiers. So he has new blood coming in. So I need to be careful. He's not the same Alieni I beat many years ago. He's different, and I must be careful of him.
When you lose to a fighter in the amateurs and there's that kind of rivalry and those communities are clashing, I believe that Alate has probably spent many, many nights awake thinking about that loss, waiting for a moment when he could avenge it, dying for this exact opportunity. And as we enter the 10th round, you can't think that there's anything else on his mind, but how close he is to not just revenge, but to be able to bring his people back to victory and say that at the very least it's even and we go again and maybe become superior. This is the kind of thing that doesn't escape you, even as an amateur. When you get to be a pro and can avenge it, it means more than what it meant in the amateurs. It meant that you grew faster than your opponent, faster than your rival, and you got to raise your hand when it really, really mattered.
Look, one of the things that Hassan is, he spent a lot of time at amateur level. Even when he thought he was good enough to climb out to be a pro, his coach said, no, you need more training. No, you need more practice. No, you need to go win. When you turn pro, you need to win 100% of your bouts. So stay here, train more, fight more, and win more. And that experience alone has helped him climbing up into pro.
Gosh is not just going to let him walk away with it, though. You know, down the stretch here, we're into the 10th round, the championship rounds. I believe Gosh is going to try to find another gear and make him remember what happened there in the amateurs and just why he walked into this ring 1-0.
Yeah, he's got to start doing something here, Gosh, because for me, he's just falling slightly behind and still winnable with 3 rounds left. Got a couple of points behind, but it could be tight, it could be a round behind, but I just feel that he needs to do something and do something quite urgently here, Gosh, to turn this back around.
To be fair, Spence, I think we're coming close to where Gosh needs at least a knockdown to get back into this fight. Yeah, and that's what he's looking for.
Yeah, totally agree with that, but just feel that Alate has just been beating him to the punch all night, really, and that's been the difference between the two. I mean, they're high-class operators, both heavy-handed and both delivering, but just look at the energy, the spring that Alate has in his feet, in his legs.
I guarantee you that Gosh is going to stay in his face and continue to try to find that knockdown, but he's got to be very careful to not cross the line between a sense of urgency and desperation. He's still got to be careful and got to be responsible with his defense as he tries to assault Alate.
Yeah, but Alate's having the better work here. Alate's the one that's landing the shots. This is great work from Alate.
And that's because Gosh has put himself in harm's way, trying to make something happen, taking big risks, but not being successful in that gamble. There's still time left in this round, but Alate is enjoying it right now.
No, Alate's growing here, and Gosh is just starting to feel the pace a little bit. The mouth just coming open, lovely uppercut on the inside there from Gosh, Alate as well. Alate's the one that seems to be growing as these rounds are going on, and I talked about it, and I'm not making it an excuse, but Gosh coming down from super bantam to bantam is not an easy thing for a little guy to do.
Look, let's analyze the ring movements of Gosh. He starts with you in the center. If he sees he's not winning, he takes you to the corner, punish you there. If he sees he's not winning in the corner, he brings you back to the center again and take you back to another corner again. He deliberately tries to move you around the ring, testing which area of the ring you are weakest the most, taking advantage of each movement of the ring. So he's just not hitting, not moving. He's moving you gradually to your weakest spot.
Again, another close round on the scorecards. He going for the smooth up, more fluent work of Alate, or the work rate on that front foot from Gosh. For me, it's Alate at the moment. Again, the 1-2. Look at the rhythm of that. Those shots are scoring shots. He's winning these rounds, and there's going to be an air of desperation about Gosh's work, I would imagine, in the last 2 rounds. Because for me, I don't know what you think, guys, but I think he needs a knockout nearly now to win, or at least a knockdown here.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. However, I can't say what the judges see. And one thing that Alate cannot do is cruise these last 2 rounds thinking he's far enough ahead, or start showboating, thinking that there's no danger left in this fight. And for Alate, I think he is ahead. He can comfortably feel like he's winning this fight, but he can't fight as comfortably as if he's winning this fight. And I don't know what part of the real estate, whether it's the ropes or the center of the ring or the corner, that Gosh feels like is his best opportunity to punish Alate, but he better find it and fight it fast because the final bell is coming.
Yeah, I think what Alote's doing correctly at the moment is he's got a nice movement, fluent movement. He's putting his punches together. In punches, he's controlling that space very well. And that's the difference between the two at the moment. The heavier handed, gosh, what it looks like to me, just seems to be forcing it a little bit too much, and that might be costing him the rounds. Close fight here with 2 rounds to go.
I like Alate jumping up off the stool and trying to run to the center of the ring. The referee had to hold him back. That's a little bit of craftsmanship right there, a little stage presence to let Gosh know that you're in a fight and it's going to take every minute of every round for you to get out of this one.
Look, in the 11th round, you might be tempted to give it an all, but you should remember that you have 1 more round to go. A little mistake, and you cannot make it to the last round. So although they're coming in with a lot of energy, but they're still mindful that, hey, I still got 1 more round to go.
Yeah, but the pressure's on Gosh now because he's the one that has to make something happen, whereas Alate can stay behind that jab, look for his clean shots, box, and for 5 more minutes now, walk away with this victory. It's on Gosh to change the momentum of this fight late and to make a big statement with a knockdown or preferably a knockout the way my scorecard is looking.
Well, Alate is not choosing to do that. He's choosing to stand there and trade. He's looking for the showreel finish, and he's on the front foot here, Alate. And does he sense something? Does he know something that we don't? Because for the majority of this contest, it's been Gosh on that front foot, and Alate, even though we have in front of us, decided to go forward. Punch went low there, I think.
Went very low. However, I'm impressed by those jabs that are really controlling the action right now from Alate. And this is the kind of thing that Gosh has got to figure out a way to get around. And it's very late in the fight to be trying to figure out how to get away from a jab. So it may be incumbent upon him to walk through it and land big shots. Just no caution to the wind at this point. Yes, you can get knocked out late in the fight, but if you don't do that, you're just going to get outpointed. So let's see what Gosh has in the tank in the last 5 minutes.
Big uppercut there, massive uppercut, and Gosh took that shot well, took it really well, but that was slick movement there from Alate. He just took half a step back and whipped that uppercut in.
Spence in the 4th round, I told you to keep an eye out for that exact same shot. He's been setting it up for some 5 rounds since. I saw it coming. He poked him with it early, and he's been looking for the clean shot, and that's it.
Yeah, he had a clean shot, but I'm sure even he didn't know he had a clean shot because after doing that, his eyes turned straight to look at the referee to be sure that he didn't make a mistake. But let's point note that Gosh is holding the WBO title, and he's defending it, so he's very, very, very careful not to listen to Alate in this ring.
He's got to be a little bit more careful because there's only 3 minutes and 30 seconds left, and he is losing that title on my cards. That uppercut is nasty, and he doesn't want to get hit with it again. It's never too late, but yes, it is getting very, very late in this fight and in this night.
Here we go, 10 seconds coming up of this round number 11. The clock is gone. Both guys still look strong, still look fit. The energy levels have not dropped at all. That's a credit to their conditioning there. And Alate jogs back to the corner. He's loving it. Look at the crowd around him. They're loving it. The trainers are loving it. Let's look over into that other corner, and they're working hard here to gear their man up. They've got 3 minutes to do something to turn it around, because for me, Alate is running away with this now. And Gosh has to get the knockout to win.
The 12th and final round coming up. I'm expecting all-out war. Alate could cruise. Alate could stand behind the jab and move. Alate will do neither of those things. He will come into the 12th round trying to get the knockout, yet still. I believe the look on Gosh's face knows that he is up against it. He is not taking anything for granted. He knows that this round he's not only got to win, but probably has to get at the very minimum a knockdown to even be in the conversation when those scorecards are read. I'm expecting a battle of 2 beasts right now.
Well, we always knew this contest was going to be a good one, and we knew there was a lot on the line for both guys, and they've delivered. They really have. What a fantastic contest. Gosh.
Starting with the statement left hook. Gosh, clean right to the eye. This is the kind of start I expected from him. This is what he's got to do. That shot could have been the one. He's got to create another one.
Well, here he goes, Gosh, rolling the dice. This is it. Chuck everything and the kitchen sink at it because he knows he's behind and he needs something big here. And a lot he knows he's just got to survive these 3 minutes.
And you can see Gosh is going all out. Like I said, he's holding the belt. He doesn't want to lose it. That's why he's going all out. He knows this is the final round, and I must put in my very last.
The boxing is out the window. Gosh is literally trying to walk a latte down, walking right into it and swinging with everything he's got left. Big shots. He started the round with a big left hook. He's trying to follow that up now with more and more action, maybe trying to overwhelm Alate as Alate tries to stay away a bit from the action and knows that he's maybe 2 minutes away from having his hand raised.
So right now, in the final round of this bout, Lopez Alate against Daniel Selassie-Gold, the Emperor. This fight has been thoroughly entertaining, and right down to the last round, the boxers are throwing, they're leaving all in the ring at this point. Gosh is trying to see whether it can salvage a knockout.
Yeah, Gosh is going for it here. He's trying to push forward, isn't he? He's trying one last chance here. But unfortunately for him, Alate looks like he has everything under control. He's a cool customer.
Alate with some slick footwork to get himself out of the corner and reset. There's always action here in the arena. Sometimes in the stands, always in the ring. Listen, these guys, the tempers run high. There's two communities here. They're about to see a close of a rivalry that started in the amateurs and has developed itself and come to the center stage here in the pro game. So there's going to be a lot of excitement in the ring and a lot of excitement in the stands. Right now, let's keep it in the ring. The closing 40 seconds of this grand rivalry here in Accra at the Bouts Arena. You see the clash. The Battle of the Beasts is living up to its name. Gosh, trying to get something done in the last 30 seconds, trying to make a shocker, a last-second knockout. He's coming on, and it really does seem like Alate is in control, but we're maybe one shot away from standing on these chairs. And now Alate is taking control. 2-3 punch combination. It's very comfortable in there, closing the show, closing the round, making a statement, letting him know that this is revenge tonight.
Yeah, another big round there from Alate, who's just putting those shots together. But take nothing away from Daniel Gosh, who has given it everything. Takes two to tango. What an incredible fight. Listen to the crowd here. Everybody up on their feet. We just witnessed a memorable contest between two brilliant young prospects. Whoever loses this one, trust me, they will come again. Sometimes a loss to a fighter can be the moulding of a fighter, can be the making of a fighter, and you suspect that the loss here, for whoever it is, that will make them come back better and stronger. What a fight!
This is certainly the making of a real rivalry. Started at his amateur, it's delivered in the pros, and we will see it again, because while tonight there will be a victor, this is certainly not settled. Both fighters celebrating as if they've won. Yeah. Fairly wide margin here. How do you have it, Spence?
Yeah, so I had Alate pulling away towards the end. I've got this contest 116, 1112 in favour of Alate. It could be 115, 113, but I'm going 116, 1112. I think he run out a comfortable winner at the end. What a contest, though. Two guys there really delivering, pulling it on for the fans. That's what it's all about.
There's pandemonium in the ring, in the stands. The fans are as excited as the fighters are. You can see dancing, as was described as part of the culture. They're not showboating, they're not clowning, they are living. This is part of their lifestyle, and it's on display here, sit front and center for the world to see.
I think we're going to have a challenge for this one because a lot of people are entering the ring to try to challenge this. When we were at round 12, we saw some misbehavior in the crowd, very bad attitude in the crowd. All the security stopped it, but don't be surprised that that misbehavior in the crowd is going to enter the ring in the next fight as two people who need to fight, because these are some of the ways that we start boxing match. When you misbehave, two managers come to you and say, hey, you want to misbehave? I'll give you a coach, get a coach, and let's go and misbehave in the ring. So don't be surprised if you see them coming in. And I would not be surprised to see more than 4 or 5 people trying to challenge the winner in this very one. I wouldn't be surprised, I must say.
Thank you.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds of pulsating action, we settle it on the scorecards. Referee Shadrach Akwe from Ghana scored it 117 to 111. Referee Erasmus O from Ghana scores it 118 to 110. And referee and Judge Adon Bertin from Benin scored it 118 to 110. For the new WBO Africa Bantamweight Champion, Theophilus the Lopez Alote.
Let me share the movement. I just want to share this few words with you. I will always be a fighter.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, as we build up to the main event of the evening, we bring you an 8-round welterweight contest, and that comes up between O'Hara Davis and Muhammad Alieni. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we welcome into the ring O'Hara Davis. Music, please. Thank you. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we welcome here into the ring O'Hara Davis. Ladies and gentlemen, as we build up to more excitement here at the Bukom Boxing Arena, we've arrived at the big chapter of honor. Before we go into it, it gives me great pleasure to welcome here into the ring the WBC's Director for Africa, Monsieur Hussein Huishi. Shall we welcome him here into the ring with a round of applause? Monsieur Hussein Huishi. Ladies and gentlemen, with a very big round of applause, so much love, warmth, and affection, let's welcome the greatest boxer ever to have lived on the African continent, one who remained a world champion for not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, but 10 years. Please put your hands together as we welcome the only Berima of boxing, the only professor of boxing, Azuma, the Zoom Zoom Nelson. A special belt which has been made by the WBC will be presented by the Vice President of the WBC, who's also President of the African Boxing Union, Monsieur Hussein Huishi. And of course, he will be supported by double world champion Amir Khan, who's also a co-promoter for this evening's bouts. Congratulations, Berima Professor Azuma Zoom Zoom Nelson. A big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Congratulations one more time, Professor Azuma Zoom Zoom Nelson. You continue to be a legend and a source of inspiration for the younger generation. Congratulations. A big round of applause one more time, ladies and gentlemen, for the Professor Berima Azuma Zoom Zoom Nelson. And now, ladies and gentlemen, fighting out of the blue corner, he comes from the heart of Dar es Salaam, and tonight he comes here with a lot of love and a lot of power from the nation Tanzania. Ladies and gentlemen, coming in with a record of 22 wins, 9 losses, and 3 draws, with 13 of the wins coming by way of knockout, weighing at the scales at 146.5 pounds. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together as we welcome here into the ring, Mohammed, the Tanzanian warrior, Alieni. Fighting across the ring, ladies and gentlemen. Born to Ghanaian parents and born in the United Kingdom, he comes in with an impressive record of 25 wins, 4 losses, 18 of the wins coming by way of knockout, and weighing in at the scales at 150 pounds. Ladies and gentlemen, with a big round of applause, help me welcome O'Hara Davies. And now I hand you over to Nathaniel Obeng, the man in the center of the ring.
Okay, gentlemen, I expect a clean fight. Obey my instructions and defend yourself at all times. That's gloves.
good to see Ahara Davies back into the ring. I haven't seen him in quite some time from this ringside position. He's been really in good spirits all week. I think he's enjoying, actually, this opportunity to fight in front of this Ghanaian crowd. I got to tell you, I'm also not used to seeing him this size, Spence.
No, absolutely not. You know, I think he's at the tail end of his career now. Ahara Davies, we saw him after that last defeat against Adams for the European title. He said then it was over, the fight had left him, but he could not resist the temptation of coming to box here in Ghana. His parents are from Ghana. It's always been a dream of his, and the dream has now turned into a reality. But when a fighter says that he's retiring, Denzel, and he starts talking about that, you always have to have those concerns, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, most definitely. I mean, from he's retired, he's done really. He has no passion in boxing, but the opportunity came that he couldn't refuse, he said. So he wanted to box out in Ghana. He enjoyed fight weekend. You know, if this is his last dance, he gets to end it in his hometown. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? Win, lose or draw, he's been a great ambassador for the sport for sure. Big character. Been in some memorable fights, and yeah, we want Ahara to stay involved in boxing in some capacity, whether that's out here in Ghana and helping the, you know, the region, the country grow. I think, you know, Africa, this is putting Africa back on the map, and I think that we look at the history of African boxing and you go back to Zuma Nelson and Ike Quarte and Alfred Cote, Richard Comey, you know, these names, the lists go on, but we're looking for that new generation now, and it would be great if you could have someone like Ahara Davies as part of that team to help it build.
Almost definitely, and if you look at the stadium, all the names you mentioned are on them, on the top of the stadium. DK Poison and Zuma Nelson, Quarte, just all over the stadium. They've got all the legends written across it. So they know who their legends are.
And they really do respect their legends here in Ghana. As you can see, it may have made the broadcast take a little longer, but they bring those icons into this ring and they get the kind of reception necessary or warranted by the kind of careers they've had. These young men that we've seen earlier in the card look up to those icons, those legends, as a beacon of what could be possible for their future.
Listen, this is all about, you know, every fighter has a dream. We've seen what's going on here in Accra, in Ghana, in Bukum. You know, it's a hugely populated place, and they all love boxing. Boxing's like their main sport, you know, and I think that what we're getting here now with Amir Khan and you know, and the promotions getting behind that, I think Legacy Rise and Amir Khan joining forces together and putting on shows here in Accra is only going to be beneficial, because I know in the gyms around these areas, there's hundreds of kids, thousands of kids that are super talented, but we never hear from them because they don't get the opportunity. They don't get, you know, that they've got the hope, but they never get gifted that opportunity. Let's hope that can start changing now, and that may change the face of boxing in many ways.
The face of boxing might change tonight, in fact, because we've got legends, as you've mentioned, old and young. Some of the action we saw in just the last fight. Listen, those kind of guys that have that kind of tenacity and are willing to put it all on the line, and you see the communities behind them. Imagine if from the very young age they could get trained properly and get their skill set together and compete in the amateurs properly and be raised, come through with guidance and come through with the right kind of matchups. There could be a next Zuma Nelson on the horizon. To see Ahara Davies come back and close the chapter in his boxing career here at home, it means so much to them. It means a lot to me, in fact. This is the best way you could possibly end your career with a homecoming.
Yep, Ahara showed an interest. He's been out here looking for land and shown an interest in working alongside the government and the necessary people, Amir Khan, as well, to sort of try and help that grow. He's shown a real appetite for that, but let's see him go out on a victory tonight. Stalking forward well here, holding centre of the ring, but not seeing too much action from him as yet.
He's not too busy, but I can see him looking for his shot. He's taking his time. I believe he knows it. He's probably outclassing his opponent tonight. He knows what to do in there, and he's taking his time and being patient so he can get the outcome he's seeking.
Just trying to find him range with his jab there. Ahara, just so he can size up the right hand, will follow through.
When you have decided, though, that your career is over, you retire in front of the public, and you come back for one more. Yes, one more that you do want to fight. Is there anything back there spent in the back of your mind saying, I don't want to be in here? Maybe this is one too many.
Absolutely. You know, when that thought creeps into your mind about, you know, retiring, and he's coming off back-to-back losses as well, you know, and that's another thing to take in consideration. He lost to Ismael Barroso for the world title. He was hoping to get that one. That was in his career, was at a high. Then he goes in and loses again in his very next contest. You've got to look at that then. All right, he's competing at the top level. He lost for a world title, he lost for a European title against Adam Azim. But you go, where are you at? Where's your appetite now? You've competed at that level, and at this stage, I think that O'Hara was willing to retire, but and then when that's creeping in, you know, you always do have those concerns. How can you know, give this opportunity up? You know, he said that himself. Look at this place. It's now gone 3 in the morning, and the place is still bouncing. There's not an empty seat anywhere. If anything, Denzel, I think there's more people come in, mate. It's like the people not sleep at night here, or what?
Waiting outside, probably find their way inside. But like you said, with O'Hara Davies, this opportunity must be really enticing to him because he's someone that loves boxing. He's someone that has the bug for boxing. So I can imagine how hard for him to get off the sofa retired, get back in the gym to train and spar and do everything he needs to do to fight that. So it must really mean a lot to him to do that.
It must be noted that while we were speaking, one nice right hand came crashing through the guard there, and I think that is what O'Hara's been looking to set up. He's not going to be a busy fighter tonight. You're not going to see a bunch of footwork and jabbing and moving and sticking. You're going to see a fighter who is leaning on his power, leaning on his ability to find his shots and pick his shots accurately, and I think we will see a successful O'Hara Davies tonight, if not a super exciting one.
Yep. O'Hara is just trying to pick the shot, show real knockout. Would be a nice way to go out, wouldn't it? And I think that's maybe where he's looking, what he's looking for. We was with him in the hotel while having lunch with him. He's in a good place. He's cool, he's calm, he knows what he's going into. Give this kid, Alieni, an opportunity, and he'll take it, man. And that's what it's all about, you know, with these kids. Yeah, it's all about opportunity.
Alieni wants to be the spoiler tonight. He wants to send O'Hara Davies into retirement in his hometown with an L. However, that is going to be a tall order. We know O'Hara Davies is a skilled and seasoned veteran. He is not going to go easy. And as this fight continues, we get into the 4th and 5th round. I think he'll settle down, settle in, and we'll see some nice, clean punching that might end the show.
Well, all I said was, you know, Alieni is one of those fighters. He's won more than he's lost. He's heavy-handed. He's got 13 of his 22 victories inside the distance. You can't give these kids any opportunity. You can't give them any hope. You've got to stamp your authority, go in there and do the job. Keep him under pressure because Alieni, if you give him a chance, he'll take it.
Yeah, and you've got to break their confidence from the get-go.
That's exactly right.
And to Alieni's credit, it's not like he's showing O'Hara Davies too much respect or in awe in there whatsoever. He's come to fight, he's come to win, and he's going to make O'Hara Davies win this fight on metal. He's not just going to give it to him.
He just tagged O'Hara there. That didn't go according to plan. Short right hook over the top. O'Hara's got to be careful. He doesn't switch off and sit in the pocket.
I don't think that Alieni has gotten O'Hara Davies' respect just yet. O'Hara seems to be comfortable sitting there, and yes, that shot landed, but it didn't move him, and something's going to have to come back from back to Davies to make him actually start respecting the punches from Alieni. Right now, he's just very much looking for a shot, even a little bit telegraphing it. That's not going to make that shot land, but ultimately, it might be Alieni who gets a little comfortable, switches off, and finds himself flattened with a punch he didn't see coming.
Yeah, we're just not seeing too much from Davies yet. We're into round 3 now. Just like to see him giving us a little bit more, stepping up just a bit more. I get where he's at. I know what he's at. Not exactly where he's at, actually, but come on, give me a little something.
Yeah. I'm certainly projecting what I would like to happen. I won't be shy about saying,
there you go.
There it is.
Was
That's
the right
the shot we're looking for.
That That landed high on the head then of Alieni. He took it well.
Oh!
That was a huge shot there. Alieni's in bad trouble. I'm not sure he's going to beat this count here.
He took a minute to think about whether or not this is where he wanted to be tonight. And I think Howard Davies is definitely coming to close the show. He's not going to let this opportunity slide. So he runs over to Alieni, however, pushed back, and Alieni does make it out of the round. A good knockdown on the way to what Howard Davies hopes to be a victorious exit from boxing in his hometown with a knockout win. But we will see if Alieni can gather himself in the 4th round.
Yeah, listen, we were talking about that showroom knockout and how good would it be to go out that way in the motherland, in Ghana. You know, it's a dream, and that dream nearly become a reality.
That's right. That's right. And then you got to see that look on Alieni's face when he went down to that second knee, just to consider whether or not this is really something he wants to do for another 12 minutes. And so we'll see when Howard Davies comes out of the corner. If he stays aggressive, if he still tries to get the knockout, if Alieni is still shaky, he might be able to close it in the first half of this 4th round.
Go round number 4. Howard Davies said his opponent, Mohamed Alieni, on the floor in that 3rd round. Only 10 seconds left in the round. He didn't get a chance to throw another punch. Let's see if he can build on that now.
And Howard starting this 4th round behind the jab, landed one clean right hand already. It's very simple what he's looking to set up, but unless Alieni can figure a way to get out of the way of it, there's really no need to complicate it. A simple 1-2 might do the job tonight. I like the long jab from Davies. He's sticking it out.
Yeah, he's got exceptionally long arms, Howard Davies. That's where he generates so much power, long levers, and he really delivers it, commits them, puts everything into the shots, the real momentum on them.
I think the body is there for him too. Alieni is kind of moving about, staying a bit out of range. With one step in, the body is available to Davies. And we all know that if you start downstairs, you loosen up the guard upstairs. And that's how you really work towards a knockout, especially with a fighter that might not be nearly as seasoned as Davies and ready to defend both the upstairs and downstairs.
Yeah, totally makes sense. Switch those attacks to the body, draw the arms down and let the shots go over the top. Halfway through round number 4, looking for that right hand again, missed narrowly there.
And that just lets you know Alieni, again, is still here to win. This is not a predetermined outcome for him. This is no kind of contest that he just came to be a footnote in history. He wants to make a statement here tonight, too. So Davies has got to stay switched on and know that he's got a live dog ahead of him.
Davies just trying to force the pace now, just starting to try and turn the screw a little, pick the pace up, not let Alieni back into this one.
And it is telling that when Davies missed, he didn't stick around and try to counter punch or mix it up inside. He got out of range, so he knows that Alieni could throw the counter punch, and he doesn't want no part of it.
Starr's a smart boxer, he's been around a long time, he understands the game inside out. You know, and he'll recognise exactly what Alieni's doing, his strengths, his weaknesses. He's working that out as this contest goes on. Don't think he'd seen much of his opponent before this one. Sometimes these rugged, tough guys that are a little bit unpredictable are hard to work out.
Davies back on the stick, getting behind the jab. It's working, it's scoring, it's winning him the round. We haven't seen the big right hand come crashing through since the beginning of this round. However, I love to see that jab working because I know that it's setting up something big. So we'll see what comes through in the 5th round. Beginning of the 5th round, both fighters meet in the center of the ring, and the action begins straight away. This time, it's Alieni who starts with the jab, but Davies answers with his own jab, and it is more pronounced, it is sharper, it is harder. We'll see if they'll get that right hand behind it, as we've seen 2 times in the previous round and once for a knockdown.
Yeah, Davis now, just a little more urgency around his work, drives that right hand in there. Alieni shakes his head, says, no mate, I'm okay, but trust me, Ahara Davis can whack, and if he breaks through that guard, Alieni will know about it.
And you're right, Spence, he is really just looking for that opportunity. He knows the right hand can do it. It dropped Alieni early in the fight. However, that body is so available, it really might shorten the road to the knockout. If you just take a few in the breadbasket, put something in the bank, and you can withdraw it, I think, at the ATM in a very short amount of time.
Wow, you see that jab there, stiff jab. Alieni took that shot well, and here he comes. He's trying to give it a go, but Ahara way too smart for that.
And Alieni wants to be careful walking in like that, just stepping left, right, he'll walk right onto a shot. We'll all be in our cars headed home. There's one to the body. You can hear a nice thud right there. Slowing down Alieni's offense immediately.
Alieni's trying to work the body himself just a little bit. Ahara very comfortable, though, sitting in that pocket, arms held nice and high, defensively good. Solid jab as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, after this bout is the main event of the night, which is between Jacob Dixon and Andrew Tabiti.
Davies there in the exchange, trying to slip in a big left hand, which we haven't seen yet tonight, and it didn't land just now, but I can see him working towards it. Oh, there we go. Alieni with the 1-2 of his own. He's taking a page out of Davies' book from earlier in the fight. I can see the jab now coming from Alieni, trying to make some kind of statement, make Davies think about it.
I'm so happy it's not an early flight anymore. So happy. I nearly booked like 6 flight. I am. You went straight from there. So happy. Well, I think I'd have missed it. You got to be there for hours. I'm not going to have about till 4, half 3 now.
Into the 5th round, we saw Alieni come back a bit, get behind his own jab, create some opportunities for the right hand. The body shots were exchanged. I think Davies got the better of that exchange, but we see something working now for Alieni. So the 6th round will be interesting. We'll see if he can build on that success in the 5th round and maybe turn the tide of this fight. It's only an 8-round competition, so we are coming to the close of this bout. However, there's still time for what would probably be now a necessary knockout to get the upset for Alieni. But in concert with that, there is an opportunity yet for Ohara Davies to end his career with a knockout win in front of this crowd in Ghana on Battle of the Beast, which is exactly what this beast has come to do. He's battling to end his career the way he imagined, with a knockout in front of his home crowd, in front of his hometown. And the home team tonight is Ohara Davies for sure.
Here we go, round number 6. Ohara Davies in complete control. Hasn't had to do too much, working well behind the jab, looking for that right hand, just narrowly missed there, but
chopping hook to the
there
body.
you go. Now
one.
He's starting to load those shots up. Now he's looking for the finish.
It seems like magic how a body shot can just open up opportunities upstairs. I mean, a couple of hooks to the body, and next thing you know, he's landing a stiff, clean jab. I believe there'll be a right hand behind that if he continues with that tactic. Davies a little bit more willing to exchange now, shot for shot, a little counter punching happening. He's not moving out of the way, not moving out of range so much. He really is looking for his big shot. I think he knows that Alieni can't hurt him, or he hasn't felt anything thus far tonight that would make him think that he can. So maybe now Davies is a little bit more comfortable, standing in the pocket, slipping, moving, and coming with a counter shot that might get the job done. A little bit more work to the body there from Davies. Poking that jab in, looking to set up the right hand. We all know what's coming. The question is, can Alieni stop it?
Well, that is the million-dollar question, isn't it? Right, I think he's doing well there. Big, solid right hand again. And Alieni, he took that shot well, soaked it up, and is now walking forward. He seems to have got into a little rhythm himself, not winning the rounds by any means of the stretch of the imagination, but that was a good body shot. There's a delayed reaction there. Alieni felt that body shot, hence why he's up on his toes. Ohara needs to switch those attacks back downstairs again here.
That's what's fun about real good body work. You see it register late. Watch the body shut down. You can see those highlights of great fighters even taking one knee a few seconds after taking a clean shot to the body. Davies reaching a little bit there. Needs to keep it crisp. That's better. Also, oddly turning his back a little bit. I haven't really seen that from him. I don't know why that is.
Oh, he's got to be careful there. Just got caught with a little right hand. He's got to be careful. He's got to switch off. Alieni will try and capitalise on that.
Alieni right now looking for any signs of success, anything he can build on, something that can bring him some more confidence. As we are down the final stretch of this fight already, Alieni's going to need to do something pretty spectacular to pull this one out of the fire.
Yep, he's got 2 rounds, 6 minutes to do that. Alieni, another big round in the bank for Ohara Davies. He should be dominating really for the opening bell. Got the job done.
I know Ohara Davies really does want to close this with a knockout, so we might see him press a little bit in the final 6 minutes of this fight. He won't be satisfied with a card's win. That's not what he's coming to do. He wants to get this crowd excited, get them out of their chairs. And so in the next 6 minutes, I expect to see maybe the best of Ohara Davies that we will have seen in the whole 8 rounds. The bell sounds for round 7. So we're getting down the final stretch of Ohara Davies' fight tonight in Ghana and his career as a boxer. Going straight to the body, looking to create opportunities there, staying in the center of the ring, toe-to-toe, not moving back, looking to press the action. He knows he's got under 6 minutes now left to end his career the way he wants. Looks like he's headed to a victory either way, but a knockout is what he desires tonight in Battle of the Beasts.
Let's just see that. Show real effort here from O'Hara. 6 minutes left of what could be possibly the last 6 minutes of his career. I'm not sure how much more appetite he'll have to fight again. I think he's ticked a box massively here, fighting in Ghana.
Yeah, but that box will be a lot sweeter if he can get the knockout. And it's not out of range. It's not out of range. It seemed to...
You know what's happened, don't you? The commentators curse. Because you've been calling for a knockout all night and we ain't had one. And we've had... this card has probably had more punches on it than I've ever worked on in my life. And you put the commentator's curse on him in fight number 1, and we've not seen it.
You know, Denzel can testify to this because I've done that to him at York Hall a couple of times as well. I'm so desperate for it. I just can't hold my powder. I can't keep my powder dry, and I keep ruining it. All right, you won't hear that from me anymore tonight. It might be a little bit late, Spence.
It's gone, baby. That ship has sailed.
Oh, my God. So we're happy for an all-points win tonight.
Yep, he's sort of heading that way at the moment, unless O'Hara lands one of those big right hands. But at the moment, he's in complete control, doing everything that he's meant to do. Be careful of those looping right hands on the corner, though.
Yeah, certainly can't switch off on any opponent.
No.
But Alieni for sure, as every round, while he hasn't won them, he has been in them and looking to win. He has been trying to create opportunities and just getting a bit outboxed by a more seasoned veteran in Hart Davies.
Sure. Oh, that's a lovely little shot there. See that? Set the trap, pulled back, short hook there. Good work from Davies. Little glimpses of the guy we once knew. Going through the routines tonight, not really.
He liked it too. You start seeing the stomp come from the back leg, a little bit more movement upstairs. You can tell when a fighter enjoys some of his own highlights, and that's the way to do it. Create another one.
Absolutely.
Ten seconds to go in the 7th round.
Oh, big right hand again there. I tell you what.
We need to start stringing those right hands together. Punches and bunches.
That was a huge shot, that. O'Hara, another round in the bank for us. Alieni took a huge right hand, but just walked forward. He tells you, Radio, that he's going to probably walk through every right hand he gets hit with in this last round as well.
Yeah, with the exception of the knockdown, of course, really haven't seen Alieni hurt by any of these shots. And so he'll have confidence coming into that 8th round that he can survive, that he will continue probably to throw punches himself. I don't see O'Hara Davies cruising, so we might get, again, a nice scrap there, a nice exchange of punches right in the center of the ring. I think if O'Hara had started the fight a little bit more aggressive, pressed the action longer tonight, we might have gotten more offense from him, a more successful night as far as punches scored cleanly.
More solid shots again coming from O'Hara. Tries to bring the arms down by attacking the body first.
Nice exchange there.
Yep, O'Hara's just looking for it a little bit here. Change of pace. Up on his toes. It's the first time we've seen that tonight.
And you do see him being more aggressive, a little bit less caution, not really bringing his hands right back to his face to tuck up in defense. He's fairly confident that nothing's coming back that can hurt him. And now he really is kind of visibly chasing the knockout, which usually isn't the way to get it.
Well, Alieni's not really wanting to engage with him in this last round. I think he's quite happy to see that final bet as well.
A little blood on the seam of the nose of Alieni. No real sense of urgency from O'Hara Davies either. It seems like both of them might be satisfied with just popping the jab and working to the end of this fight and go to the cards.
Yep, having a little workout, having a little shakeout, and O'Hara's realist. He knows he's not the fighter he once was, but it was all about opportunity from here, and it's opportunity as well for Alieni.
And we always knew that O'Hara Davies is the more experienced, seasoned fighter. So if he decides that he's no longer chasing that big punch and is just willing to do exactly what we see here, he certainly is in no danger, really, of losing this fight. I think he's kind of given up on the highlight knockout reel and now just going to enjoy the night and listen for that final bell.
And that final bell will be coming in about 30 seconds. As the clock counts down, O'Hara Davies, another round in the bank, working behind the jab, trying to switch those attacks to the body. But Alieni has never looked in trouble. He throws a dangerous right hand of his own there.
Yeah, definitely trying to catch Alieni slipping, walking in. Turn one over. Less than 10 seconds to go now in the fight and potentially in the career of O'Hara Davies. And there you have it. The hometown crowd has seen their hero come home for one more dance in the squared circle.
Yep. I think that's a solid victory for O'Hara Davies. He can go out now on a victory, finish his career there. He was coming off back-to-back losses, but he's got a win in the bank. Surely that will be enough. He can set up his little business out here in Ghana, whether that's in the boxing world. He's going to build some properties as well, I know that. But whatever he chooses to do, look, he's a great guy. And he's been a great ambassador for the sport as well. He's achieved a lot. And good luck in your next chapter.
As you said, he's got property here. The locals can expect to see him in these roads, in these villages. I think he wants to contribute back to the community from which he comes. And yes, on many, many levels, I think he has a lot to contribute to the sport of boxing, so I hope he doesn't leave us behind. I'd love to hear his thoughts ringside and his analyst hat on, maybe there in the office of the Talk Sport. Who knows what the future holds for O'Hara Davies, but he's dancing there in the corner and seems happy with his night and satisfied with his return.
the money you can't afford. Your girl try to take a picture and show me a round of applause. I'm a non-way, I'm a non-way, bitch. I'm a non-way, bitch. She can wish and all that bitch. I'm a non-way, G. No, I'm a non-way, oh, party now, oh, party now. I'm a hold it down with my wife. Youngest from my city doing big worldwide. You mad cause your team get a beat? Better luck next time. I'm in the party.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 8 entertaining rounds, we'll do a big round of applause for the two boxers. Big round of applause. And so we settle it on the scorecards, and Judge 1 scored it 78-73. Judge 2 scoring it 79-72. And Judge 3 scoring it 79-72 in favor of the winner by unanimous decision. Ladies and gentlemen, O'Hara Davis.
You my pill busy. This be the new dish. I should have random package and call them feces. Grandma, won't show Jesus. Me and mini rap Jesus. And make me secure. Thank you for the features. How much do I charge for a shoe? iPhone 10, basic. But what do you have on the 10 now? Me and my agenda. And make a certain thing. I know they like things finging. Any day, facts over fiction. The marina say rap me bare long, yeah, boss. Back to the singing. Now your girl, dear, falla boss. Did they eat that boss? One more time, falla boss. We dey eat that boss. Make time what you say. If you jam and I can't see. For respect the old man who knew where ya boy yet. Destin. 911. Destin. Obimra. Destin. 911. Destin. Dial it. 911. Dial it. Destin. Wow. 911.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, would like to say a very big thank you to all of our sponsors at this time. I2 Development, KGL, The Stomping Ground, Play Undisputed, Green Hill, QIC Insurance, The Independent Ghana, Sharaf Bahama Foundation, JA Group, Fifth Avenue, and Republic Bank. Do remember, ladies and gentlemen, that we're streaming live to the rest of the world and the rest of the African continent via the Zone, DSTV, and Supersport Africa, and Max TV. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the WBC getting us ready for this very big title bout for the vacant WBC Africa Bridgerweight title over 12 rounds between Andrew Tabiti of the U.S. and Jacob Dixon of Ghana. And just before we bring the boxers here into the ring, do remember that this bout is put together by American Promotions in collaboration with Sharaf Muhammad's Legacy Rise in partnership with Zwen Sports Management in the United States of America. And now, ladies and gentlemen, judges for this bout, Joanna Ocampo from Mexico, Lee Harvey from the UK, and Mike Harley from Ireland. And the man who will be in the center of all of the action here in the ring, Harvey Dock from the United States of America. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we will start off by welcoming the two boxers here into the ring, beginning with Jacob Dixon. of rounds of boxing for the WBC Africa Bridgerweight title. And right about now, the big question we ask is, Buko Marina, are we ready? Buko Marina, are we ready? Buko Marina, are we ready? And now, ladies and gentlemen, for pre-fight formalities, we begin with the national anthem of Ghana. Shall we all rise, ladies and gentlemen? The national anthem of Ghana, after which we'll have the United States of America. And that takes us straight to the blue corner with a boxer fighting out of the Bronx gym here in Accra under the strict guidance of the experienced Carl Loco, a former Ghana Cruiserweight champion. He's in the ring with a record of 14 wins, 1 loss, and 13 of the wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, from the heart of Accra, Ghana, I present to you Jacob the Beast Dixon. And now, ladies and gentlemen, fighting out of the red corner across the ring, right from the heart of Chicago, Illinois, coming in with a record of 21 wins, 2 losses, 17 of the wins coming by way of knockout, also known as the Beast, with roots from Nigeria in the heart of West Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, do one more big round of applause as we welcome Andrew the Beast Tabiti. And the man in the heart of the action, the referee, Harvey Dock of the United States of America.
Main event of the evening. We're finally here, 4 a.m. boys. We made it.
Have we? It's been a tough night. It's been a long night, but boys, I've got to say I've been looking forward to this one. WBC African Bridgerweight title on the line. History being made here in Bukom Accra, down at the Bukom Boxing Arena. Can't wait for this one. The crowd has stayed in, by the way, as well. And as you just heard Denzel Bentley say, that it's 4 a.m. That's correct, 4 a.m. And we're still going.
And it looks almost as full at 4 a.m. as it looked 4 hours waiting for the first bout to begin. This is how committed the audience is here and the fans are to the battle at the Battle of the Beast. And here is the Battle of the Beast finally to begin. Round one.
Dixon in his hometown.
I don't expect too long a feeling out process, if I'm honest. I think both of these guys are looking to make a statement early with the power. Who can land first? Who can get the respect? Big right hand from Tabiti.
Yep, he can carry power in that as well. 17 of his 21 victories coming by way of knockout. The right hand to the body there was a shot that did land, so that will count. Dixon was taken out in a round by Albert Ramirez way back in 2023. Can Andrew Tabiti do the same?
Both fighters bone dry, by the way. I think maybe there's a warm-up missing in the locker room. That often can be explaining the early knockdown. A perfect shot to the body from Tabiti. Looking for that same again from the jab. Tabiti will be brimming with confidence now, so Dixon's better be careful trying to go in there and get it back. Tabiti is explosive. The big right hand that Spencer mentioned earlier, he is not going to leave anything to chance. He is looking for an early knockout, and right now, I think Tabiti needs to really find some bit of offense himself, settle down and settle into the fight before it's over.
No, he don't need no offense himself. He knows exactly what he's doing. He's controlling the space here. When you talk about levels here, Dixon, although he's got an impressive record, has not competed the same sort of place Andrew Tabiti has. Tabiti is a top-class operator who's boxed for the world title and is looking to get back there. And I think that has become evident, Denzel, for me in this opening round, that there's levels to this game, and for me, Tabiti looks far more complete.
Yeah, there is levels, man. Dixon walked in with confidence. He's in his hometown, but Tabiti's taking that away from him here in this opening round. He's already knocked him down. And even though Dixon's marching forward, he's not throwing anything. He's kind of worried about what's coming back. Tabiti's speed is really hard to match.
If not offense, Spence, what should Dixon be looking to do?
Well, he's got to be educated in his pressure here because he's in his hometown. It's easy to get drawn into that, get carried away. We've got a massive crowd here. You've heard them all night. And he'll want to steal the show. He'll want to close the show with a good victory. By doing that, chaos does create opportunity, but also gives your opponent that opportunity to take you out. So he's got to be careful what he does. Someone like Tabiti is very smart. He's got a good boxing IQ. You see there, he's taking no chances himself, hands held high. And he's just looking right now, figuring out what Dixon does after he throws his shots. He'll start setting the traps. And if he sees Dixon maybe drop a left hand or something like that, he'll tap downstairs, drive the right over the top. He's a smart fighter to beat in. That's exactly what he's doing now. He's just feeling his opponent out.
Double jab working late in the round for Dixon. He found a little something that was working for him, and maybe he'll go back to it in the second round. I feel like if he doesn't get Tabiti's respect, doesn't wipe that smile.
He's getting in his flow. He might possess different threats. To beat him out early and keep him honest from early. He let him get into it a little bit, just smiling and laughing at him as Dixon was finding his range. He shouldn't allow Dixon to find his range.
Here we go, beginning of round number 2. It was all Andrew Tabiti in opening round. Dixon was trying, he's trying to force the pace, fell short with a couple of right hands, but can he start finding the range here in a second?
Dixon starting with the jab, following it up, a couple of double jabs in the right hand. Nothing really got through. However, he is trying to establish that he's in this fight and he's not coming to lay down.
I'm not sure what he's looking for, but he's waiting a bit too long for my liking.
Yeah, he's looking for the showreel knockout. That's what he's looking for. I think that he feels comfortable in that, and he's looking to size that shot. He's just waiting, and you're right. He's waiting that split second too long.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking for that highlight reel knockout, he's experienced enough to know that he needs to set it up.
That's exactly right. Oh, what's happened there? Oh, a shot hit him on the back of the head there, and it sent a shockwave. And I tell you what, I've had that before. I've had that a couple of times in sparring when it strikes you on the top of the head, and it sends like needles down the back of your neck. It's like you're momentarily paralyzed in the neck. It's awful.
It looks like the doctors are stepping up today to take a look at Dixon after suffering a blow to the back of the head. Complaining about those needles that Spencer just mentioned. That's got to be painful. There's a reason it's an illegal shot. This is not something that you could just put on. It is a dangerous blow. It should be attended to. Dixon ready to consume action. Tabiti's going to go right back to it, I'm sure.
Yep, he's going to be looking for that right hand again. He's spearing out that jab, and he'll be looking for that right to follow. As soon as he fights the target with that shot, he'll follow through with that right hand. Again, every time he gets hit there, Dixon, he seems to either lose his balance. Is it balance or is it punch resistance?
And he even hit Tabiti with a low blow right in the the little bits and bobs, if you will, and that didn't even slow Tabiti down. So he's got a tough climb ahead of him. You're right. I'm surprised Tabiti's waiting in a situation like this. I mean, he's got a jab of his own. He's quick with it. You know, he can follow with the right hand, as he's shown, obviously, and the body's open. So what are we waiting for? Let's get this action happening.
Yep, taking too long. He'd like to see him setting some traps himself instead of just waiting for the counter punch, knowing that Dixon comes in straight lines, and after throwing his shot, he's not coming off the line. That was a low blow. That was a really low blow.
Really the second low blow, and not even as bad as the first.
What, did the first one hit him on the foot?
Hit him on the bits and the bumps. Is this a dangerous thing for Tabiti? Potentially, because he got that knockout early, got it easy, straight to the body, that now he's not actually going to box and set up traps and do his due diligence to respect the fight. Instead, just load up and wait for another big one.
No, he's in total control here, and I think that he's just doing things in his own time. We've got to remember it is 4 a.m. in the morning now as well, which is an unusual time. He's been waiting a long time at the venue, a long time. I think we all thought we'd be finished by around 12. I mean, I know you know different because you are Ghanaian, so you understand it.
No, even for me, this is it. I mean, I think to a boxing event, I think it will go this long just simply because of the fighters. But the fighters seem pretty awake to me, so they're all right.
Well, after that first round, I must say I'm surprised that we're seeing the third. Credit to Dixon for surviving this long, finding a way to extend the fight. He's been down once from a legitimate shot to the body, second time from a blow to the back of the head.
Just looking at Dixon's body language in the corner there, he's really not fancying this. He's moaning, he's complaining to his trainers, and now he's saying, yep, I'm all right, I'm all right. I'm not sure he fancies this kid. One good shot, one good combination, and it could be curtains.
Do you think he's just giving Dixon his corner the nod and really not believing it in his heart and mind?
No, Dixon was giving him the nod in the end, but before that he was shaking his head and not very happy with himself.
Well, I'll give it credit for this. He's not looking to tie up or run. He's still sticking the jab out there, and while Tabiti's waiting, Dixon is trying to score. Now they're both waiting a little bit too long. I mean, what do you say there, Denzel? I can understand why Dixon is a bit cautious, but really, why is Tabiti just seem to be sat in the mud there and waiting for shots that are available?
I think he's just too comfortable. He's not even bouncing on his toes right now. He's just pulling forward. Hasn't thrown a jab for about 30 seconds. I think he's just too comfortable in his comfort zone. And that's how you let rounds slip.
And I guess he's just so sure, Spencer, that he's not going 12, that he's not going to see the cards, that he can just wait on the big shot.
Well, he's in control, isn't he? That's the thing. So he's doing things on his terms. He's looking for those openings, not taking any chances in the process. Dixon tried a cheeky little upcut from the outside, then didn't work. But yeah, so we just expect to be at some point probably quite soon, to start turning it up a little bit, turn the screw a little bit, and showing your level, showing your class.
Well, if he doesn't, Dixon's definitely winning this third round. I mean, no matter how seasoned you are, how much power you have, you can't win a fight without throwing a punch.
Yeah, Tabiti's allowed Dixon to land some good shots. He just allowed Dixon to land a 1-2 and then a jab shot off the back of that. Tabiti's not doing enough of these. Like you guys said, he needs to show his level, show his class, show where he's been, separate himself right now. And he's not doing that.
No,
for whatever reason, I'm not sure, but he's not doing it.
Totally agree with that. He's just making Dixon work very hard at the moment, just controlling that space. And there you go.
With a vicious hook from Tabiti. I don't think Dixon gets up from this.
He doesn't want it. He knows the power. The shot half landed.
He's waiting to get knocked out.
He's waiting to get knocked out. That's exactly right. Look, he doesn't want this.
Well, credit to him for getting back on his feet.
This is all over, this fight. Tabiti will go in there now and just take this.
He's got 10 seconds to do just that, and we're going to see the fourth round. Tabiti in there looking for target practice. Carl Loco in the corner, trying to motivate his man, trying to make Dixon believe that there's still something left for him inside this ring. But as Spencer has pointed out between the last round, it's really Dixon arguing with his corner and letting him know he doesn't want it. He doesn't want to get sent back out there. And it's really Carl Loco that's got all the confidence in his fighter and trying to see if he can last and let him get back in and last one more round. But it's not looking good. You see Tabiti pacing in his corner, just waiting for his highlight reel to begin.
Yeah, everyone, the referee was having a close look at Dixon then as well. I think he senses that there's not a lot left, and if Tabiti now just decides to turn it up a notch, he could get this job done.
Tabiti just now getting a good sweat going. Usually you see a fighter entering the ring with this kind of glisten, but he's, like you say, controlling the action, doing exactly what he wants to do in there, and stepping it up a bit now. We're seeing the jab repeated. We're seeing him look for the offense, and what we've seen so far is some great success on Tabiti's part when he lets his hands go. Is Dixon fooling me? Like, I can see when he gets knocked down, he doesn't want to get up. You can see in the corner he's arguing with his trainer, but then he's in here and he's throwing punches and taking chances and staying in the pocket. I can't tell which guy I'm meant to believe.
No, I think it's just because of the lack of shots coming back from Tabiti, if I'm honest. He's, like I say, when you're in control sometimes, it's the time of that, you've got to take all this into consideration. Again, one shot, half lands, and down he goes. He's not going to beat the count here. unfortunately, Dixon, he's been waiting for that. Denzel Bentley called it, he's been waiting to get knocked out.
And Dixon decides to stay down. That will be the close of the Battle of the Beasts. There's certainly a beast in the ring tonight, and it is Andrew Tabiti. Has named himself the Beast accurately, has proven that that is his medal and his moniker. Dixon worse for the wear in the corner with his head hung low, but he did fight when he had a chance, and when Tabiti didn't have anything coming back, Dixon did his best to do his job. However, he was simply outclassed, outboxed, out-power-shotted in every element of this fight. There was only really one beast, and that was Andrew Tabiti today.
Yep. Levels to the game, and Tabiti showed that he is that world-class operator still. Got the job done, nice little workout for him, puts himself back up there in the mix. And what a night we've had here in Bookham, Accra, at the Bookham Boxing Arena. We've had a little bit of everything. We've seen the guys leaving it all on the line, but more importantly, this is opportunity for these local fighters, and they were all pulling together. It's been a brilliant night of boxing. And that night, Raheem, has now come to the end.
Well, credit to you, Spencer Oliver. You indeed did go the distance. I had to take a couple of rounds off, but you did every single fight. You stuck in there. The energies remained high. You worked with me. You worked with the Ghanaian broadcasters. You worked with Denzel Bentley. You worked this show. You worked every fight. And that is the kind of tenacity that only a real warrior has. So you carried us on tonight, and we appreciate it. Nothing like sitting next to Spencer Oliver ringside. What an honor, what a pleasure. You carried me tonight, and every time I feed off of your energy. I can't believe you did every show. Right here, for how many hours? It's 4 o'clock now. We showed up just after 5 o'clock. I mean, my goodness, man, that's near 12 hours sitting ringside, waiting for these fights to begin, and then with every punch, you were right there on the mic. You couldn't have a better broadcaster, couldn't have a better partner. Spencer Oliver in Ghana, Battle of the Beast. Clap it up. Clap it up.
Radio Raheem, it's been a pleasure working with you as well. We've been out here all week. We've seen some new stars that are going to emerge out of Accra, out of Bookham, and we're looking forward to following that journey. Amir Khan Promotions, in association with Legacy Rise Sports, congratulations on a brilliant show, and hopefully we'll see you again this year. But for myself, Spencer Oliver, and him, Mr. Radio Raheem, it's been great.
Good night from Accra, Ghana, and happy Adodo!
I'll be on the phone, calling you tonight. I'ma make you feel, maybe you know the vibe. I don't want to sleep alone, wanna hold you tight. I fool my eyes, but I'll be alright. Forever, on my laptop, on my desktop, on my TikTok. Money in the formula, videos them know. Let me have a shine, couple my shoe, back at the come, pillows of zero, holding me swagger, the girl in my damu, the boy in my damu, she's a maker, play through like shouting, I'm going to falling, put it in a fan, for me to go busy, but I'm fine, you see, I ain't here my budget, and you probably do me, baby, simple like a BC, simple like a BC, short you so it's blind, but then we put it was time, I'm not sure what I'm trying to say outside, you get where you are. You could shine down. I'm a content. You are more money. Faja. No, I'm not gonna come back. Do you hear me when you go? I love that booty. Booty is a pretty girl. Where go? Where? Press on the boom, come on the way. It's a loco, calopity, and then you know, next is me. I'm 6 energy, and then I'm a majesty. I'm going over people.
Thank you. And now, ladies and gentlemen, after... Thank you.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, after 1 minute and 34 seconds in round 4, we have a winner by knockout. Please put your hands together for the new WBC Africa Bridgerweight Champion, Andrew the Beast One more time, ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for the man, Andrew Tabiti, the real beast. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen.